dynamite, and boom it goes!
And boom, the layout goes! Sluster and the Kran are on the move. To the Kran!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a glorious London. It is absolutely roasting in the capital here, and we are very excited to start ULTI.TV's exclusive coverage of the London Invite with a special free Friday for you. Got a couple of showcase friendlies on the stream this afternoon, on multiple pitches, in fact, with World Games teams kind of sharpening their prep for the London Invite and for the World Games. And we are starting here on pitch 1 with Canada, who you see there in the white and the red, taking on the one and only Tokay SuperTeam. Benjamin Rees in the booth for you. I'm Benji, alongside Amelia Durbin, and we've got Ali Thomas on stats as well. Afternoon, Amelia. It is roasting. This is not London weather.
It is quite uncharacteristic to be this hot, especially on a Friday afternoon, but I'm not complaining. Beautiful Frisbee, beautiful weather, beautiful venue here at Grasshoppers Rugby Football Club. We're in for a great weekend.
Yeah, 4th year of the London Invite. Lovely to be back at Grasshoppers. Superb facility. We're on the artificial turf here in front of the clubhouse. Got 3 glorious, lush, natural grass fields behind as well. Yeah, I must admit, I'm so excited. You will not get a higher level of competition outside the World Games here, and I think that's proven by the fact you've got 5 World Games teams here, plus the Super Team, plus a couple of U24s as well, sharpening up before their championships in Logroño very shortly. We've got Super Team in the purple this year, starting out on offense. Angela Zhu going back into the backfield. Backhand here to Dameron. Finds a backfield option that he likes. Johnson go to Lagala in the, I think, trademark at this point, Stegosaurus hat. Doesn't want the downline option, going to try and swing central instead. Johnson go. Back to Zhu. Lovely leading pass with the offhand, and now running a little bit of throw and go motion. Dameron again on the far side. Everything handler driven at the moment, running this dominator very effectively. Lister slashing sideways. Advancing into the red zone, space at a premium. Can they find the way out? The inside to Dameron, and then continuation. Break side flow not in. There's a little bit of a collision in the end zone, and that is going to temporarily draw a halt to proceedings.
Yeah, great flow from the Super Team there. Their first point ever playing together this line, and it's not looking too bad so far.
Way out, the inside to Dameron, and then continuation.
No, it isn't.
Break
Certainly
side flow.
This is something that the organisation of the team this time, I think Stef looked to recruit a little bit more of those, the combinations who already had that chemistry together. Here's Johnson go, one of the late additions to the team, and he finds the option into the end zone for the Super Team score into the hands of look like Carmen Lagala. They could not really ask for a better start than that.
No, absolutely not. A beautiful clean hold. The wind's a little bit gusty here. I wouldn't say it's anything of a problem, potentially what you'd be deeming as a thrower's wind. But a great start for the Super Team, as we see actually walking across the field now. Sarah Yeklin's just arrived.
Yeah, I saw that Lev Kovalchuk had just turned up as well. We don't quite have a full complement of Super Teamers at the moment. Lara Ospina had a couple of visa issues, but Cappy will be here flying in tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, we will not get the chance to see Alex Atkins suit up this weekend. He suffered a knee injury during the weekend, I think quite wisely taking precautions. So he's out for the time being, but there will be a replacement coming in tomorrow morning. I won't tell you who it is just yet, but I will say that you might need to restock up on the license plates.
We're getting a first look now of the Canada O-line.
It's going to be interesting for the World Games teams to see how they work in the alternates this weekend, whether they want to play the starting 7 a lot and then just use the alternates for breaks, whether they'll put a line where they've got more of their alternate players on, whether they'll just kind of sprinkle them in a little to try and keep their key players fresh for, of course, the big show, the World Games out in Chengdu in China.
Yeah, certainly a weird one to try and figure out, but we see the Super Team playing through everyone, putting up their first D-line, and the pull is coming down nice and slowly.
fielded by the veteran Sang, one of the alternates for the World Games this year, but a well-seasoned campaigner. That disc is low and they couldn't get underneath and scoop it. Was aiming for Marty Gallant. Colombian Buja picks up. And again, faking the backhand, but a stoppage. Formidable looking D-line out there. Quite a lot of size there on the pitch from both sides. Ojay Samar up against Buja now. Aurora Leshnik into the center. Back to Buja. Looking into the backfield. Here's Quinn Finer. Super Team going backwards at the moment. This is good defense from Canada. They pass off a switch there to try and shuttle the active Buja. Big fake from Hatchet. Lovely slicing throw across the field to Buja. Fakes the offhand. And, oh, is he going to be in the end zone? Not quite. And I think there was a pick anyway, so this might come back.
Buja really driving the offense here, kind of going every other, not in the classic quarterback style we're used to seeing, but just an absolute anchor, someone to really watch out for this weekend.
I really like his first step quickness. He's got Hatchet in the backfield, that's where he goes. Big wide pivot, trying to manipulate the force. He's staying active, doing a very good job, and then the toss out into space for Leshnik. Didn't quite have enough underneath it.
Yeah, not enough sit there. We know Leshnik can really fly, but couldn't fly for that one. Canada back with the disc.
A really good jump by, I think, Gallant on the force. He was so active there, really clouding downfield lanes. Here's Jacobson. Trying to open it up, shooting deep, looking for Malik Ojay Samar. Has he got the chase? Has he got the speed? Oh, that is superb from Ojay Samar. This does not matter that this is just a warm-up, a little teaser for the weekend and for the World Games. Malik Ojay Samar looks like he is in peak form already.
I was just thinking then that the Super Team are really clamping down on Canada's offense, and I was thinking someone needs to be brave and stretch it, and it was great to see Jacobson take that shot all the way to Ojay Samar. A bid required to take it, but that's a hold, and a much needed hold for Canada. Just want to talk about the strategy here. So last year we had the Canada Open team come across to prep for their Worlds tournament in Australia, and they did a warm-up game on Friday. But when speaking to the coaches, they didn't put out any lines or do any strategy to not give away their hands on the Friday. So Clapham, or the GB team, I believe, beat them quite comfortably on the Friday.
It was not close.
And then the next day, Canada obviously came and decided to do their strategy and ended up winning again quite convincingly. So it'd be interesting to see if this is what this Canada World Games team are doing now. Are they just rotating or are they stacking?
This is the thing, I think for a lot of the World Games teams in attendance is that, yes, you want to practice some systems a little bit, you want to get into the groove, but I think they will be very wary about showing their full hand necessarily, because you don't want teams to get the best kind of quality film that they can use to prep and game plan around.
Absolutely, and obviously we're filming so many games here this weekend. 3 pitches, 3 streamed games, a time slot. There's a lot of Frisbee to be watched.
Oh yes. Flusser in the backfield with Tognetti. Now McHale on home turf. Comes underneath, McHale launching this one. An enormous flick hook, coast to coast to the end zone. Finds the big man who I think has only just arrived actually, Nick Whitlock.
Yeah, flew in from New Zealand, and we've had our first It's Too Easy call by Team Super Team, calling it out early.
Yeah, Whitlock is a skyscraper, and it's interesting he's one of the players who, I think from one of the less powerhouse ultimate countries, of course, as you mentioned, Kiwi coming across from New Zealand, but it's good to have that international representation, certainly, and yeah, for a player who doesn't necessarily have that chemistry with players, because obviously on the other side of the world it's going to be a little bit trickier, seemed right at home there.
Absolutely, and for a lot of people this is their World Games.
I mean, Stef has been abundant about saying this is the World Games for the majority of Super Team, the Colombians aside.
The kind of closest they'll get, or the opportunity of the year. Obviously, McHale missing out, GB side not qualifying.
Yeah, lost
for the
out
World
on the
Games.
tiebreaker in the end.
So probably the only one who got relatively close. But it's strange to think that players like Legala from Italy, don't think Italy's had representation at the World Games.
No, Italy's never been. New Zealand, they're a side that are always solid and consistent, but haven't necessarily quite made that kick on. The Netherlands, I'll be honest, I think they're maybe not too far away. You know, we see how strong Groot's been over the past few years in the mixed division, making the transition over to a women's team. They've been superb. Groot Open have started the season superbly as well in the EUCS. And yeah, honestly, it's exciting. But that's one of the things that makes the World Games great, is that it is so exclusive. And you know, you think of the ultimate history of Canada, to make this roster, even as an alternate, is so tough.
Absolutely.
Into the backfield for Wedge. He will become just the second player to represent multiple countries at the World Games, following Alex Snyder. Backhand pumped down the line from Kimura. Handlers bail out, so Kimura says, well, we've got to put it, it's going to hang towards the end zone, but the separation was created. And Thomas Edmonds is in the end zone as well. Clean hold for Canada, their first of the game, 2 apiece.
Yeah, as far as a bailout shot goes, that's a pretty perfect one. Stall was quite high. Kimura just recognised that 2 players were free, decided to put it out, sit it in the middle, and of course just taken down pretty comfortably. 2-2, that's a nice scoreline here. How long are we here for, Benji? Walk us through it.
So, I assume you mean just in this game specifically, because we are, of course, here all weekend, free Friday for you, and then, as we mentioned, the 3 stream games around tomorrow and Sunday, and we're sprinkling a fair few free games in that as well, although you do have to be a YouTube channel member, so join for more London Invite access to watch every game we have here this weekend. This is just a little 60-minute game, and because it's kind of a warm-up as well, because it is very hot as well, they have a slightly egregious 2 timeouts per team per half, which I do not necessarily see coming into play, especially because at the World Games, you get 1 timeout a game.
It's going to be interesting to see how they use it as well. I'm very passionate about not calling an in-game timeout, but calling 2 out-of-point timeouts seems like a little bit of a waste of time, considering you've only got 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think this is just a case of give them the opportunity to work on something, because, I mean, not only is this a warm-up tournament for these teams, but this is a warm-up to the warm-up. That pull is not in bounds, and I don't think it is close.
Fielded well by Podnar on the far sideline there. Always there.
Leshnik's going to take it to the brick mark. Isolating Talister in the centre. Leshnik with a little bit of shape into the backfield for Johnson Go. Got a big arsenal of throws. He's just going to go back to Mikhail with a little bit of Oyo to Kularts. Fakes the big option, and now all pops. I wonder if Jacobson got a tip on that one, but it popped right up and Johnson Go got sucked too far underneath it. Canada with the quick pick, I like it. Kimura down the sideline looking for Jacobson. This floats, and she goes up big and boxes out Kularts.
It takes a lot to make Kularts look small there, but Johnson absolutely ripped that out the sky.
Lovely lead pass to Sang, and then he gets that out lightning quick. One vet to another. He finds Mark Lloyd, and the first break of the game goes Canada's way to take a 3-2 advantage.
Mark Lloyd, a real kind of stalwart of the game, playing in the UFA this year, been someone who's been around the block, kind of played nearly every tournament, so great to see him back out there on this World Games team.
Well, you mentioned he's played nearly every tournament. That includes the World Games. He represented Canada in 2017, where he was 2nd overall on the stat sheet. That's across all teams, 12 assists, 8 goals for 20 total, and then wasn't part of the World Games in 2022. So, you know, to put the work in to get back to that level is, you know, a huge credit to his, to his resilience, his fitness, and his all-around game.
Yeah, not bad going. A break then for Canada. Let's see how Super Team can respond.
Yes. Again, warm-up game, but I know these sides, you never want to lose. Doesn't matter, warm-up, you know, maybe you're playing a little bit of hotbox in the park, doesn't matter, you've got the winning mentality, you always want to win.
If Stef or Pazzo wants anything, it's to come out of this weekend unbeaten and obviously define himself as the owner, overlord, dictator of the Super Team.
It is somewhat of a power trip for him, yes.
Credit where credit's due. Not many people could wrangle this group of people.
I've always said that if there's one thing he knows how to do, it's how to put a really good team together so that he doesn't have to do any actual work on the field.
Well, yesterday at dinner, Stef did say that if the team at one point got a 6-point lead, he would take the field.
There we are, challenge accepted.
So Super Team going to be working hard, not to win, but to get Stef to play.
Finer fields the ball and goes to Lagala, now Buja. Damn, charging underneath, out of the stack on that far side. Extra swing to Lagala. Buja again. Can he squeeze it to Hatchet? No. The Estonian Tam underneath, and now the deep shot from Hatchet. Did that hit the post?
That hit the metal floodlight, yeah. I've never seen that before, and I've been at London Invite for 4 years, so that is really unfortunate.
Opportunity then. Canada to tack another break on the board.
I'm sure Stef will be complaining about that. You see the players discussing what the rule is. I believe in WFDF rules it's going to be taken from the point it went out, but some people believe it should be taken from the point that it hits. But Canada are underway with their potential to get a second break, and they get it!
Beautiful work, leading pass down the line into the path of Malcolm Bryson. Canada have hit on something a little bit here now. They're getting the gears ticking up through nicely. 4-2 their advantage. Plenty of game time left, but again, not the longest game. So they must be pretty happy with their performance so far.
Teams just obviously trying to figure each other out, but whatever Canada have figured out first is making the Super Team obviously have to think about it a little bit differently. We saw them come out of a side stack there, and it was very, very good defense from Canada to really put pressure on the downfield players, but also be super tight to the handlers, which meant they didn't really have anywhere to go. They squeezed Hatchet down a very, very small channel as we saw him try and put it up said small channel, and unfortunately connected with the metal pole rather than a player.
There's a good Canadian contingent on the sideline on the far side. Those are some of the Canadian under-24s who are representing in I think in the open and the mixed division this weekend.
Yeah, great to see them over here before they head to Logroño in Spain next week.
And I can see some of them have clearly made a cardboard box into a makeshift shelter, which, honestly, smart.
It's always strange to me coming from the UK, who are so deprived of sunlight, that when it is sunny, we do everything we possibly can to either be in it or enjoy it, whereas players that come over from slightly warmer climates are just much more accustomed to hiding from the sun.
Or just staying out there, not a problem. This ball has the right edge in it, so it will be fielded just shy of his own end zone by Johnson Go. First pass to Talister. Maybe trying to initiate some throw and go. Clears out. Tognetti opening it up, looking for Coularts. Auger Samar trying to peel off the back, and he does a good job there of helping to sandwich Coularts, and the disc hits the floor.
Yeah, we know Coularts is an incredibly brave player, so did not stop hustling, even though they heard Samar on the shoulders, but a turnover, unfortunately, for Super Team, which gives Canada another opportunity to break.
There's a Coularts-Brittany Dos Santos matchup that I am very much enjoying take shape. Lloyd's just going to take the break to the aforementioned Auger Samar. Faking the flick, looking for the break down the line. Isn't there. Stall count got to be ticking up now, calling for a little bit of calm and composure. Is able to get it off even further in his own end zone. Can Lloyd find the throw that begins to uncork things? Oh, the reset, miscommunication. Canada can't rescue it. You could feel the turn coming there. Tognetti wants to pick up and go, and a little toss there to Whitlock, and a balletic toe tap gets the Tokay SuperTeam back on the board. Disappointed with the turn, but the defense afterwards was lightning.
To force a team like Canada to have a misconnection like that shows how stressful it was to come against that defense. A great showing from Super Team, as we see our first timeout being called by the Super Team.
Yeah, we did mention that both sides have 2 timeouts to use each half in this little warm-up game here on Free Friday here at the London Invite. Of course, if you want to get access to all of our streams this weekend, then you can do by becoming a YouTube channel member. Click the button, the join button, and you want more London invite access. Don't go away then, we'll take a little breather. Tokay SuperTeam down on Canada, 4-3, the Canadians lead.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Yeah, look, all of my wins going crazy. I gotta brag on myself.
London invite free Friday for you here from Grasshoppers RFC in Osterley in West London. And I must admit, I feel a little bit out of place because I'm from the mean streets in the southeast. I feel a bit out of my station here. He says, as if he's not incredibly middle class.
I like that description of yourself.
Look, if the incredibly well-tailored shoe fits.
I always like to say I was dragged up. Not middle class, but although my voice might seem like it.
I must admit, I think most of our English commentary crew has that has a relatively similar twang.
It's very standard BBC News, isn't it?
Yeah, quite RP. Here we go then, Canada out on offense, having just been broken. Super Team trying something a little bit different defensively. Kurahashi toes the line superbly. That's part of the play that made her the D1 Women's College Player of the Year. Fresh off a title with UBC Thunderbirds. Then now going to the end zone. Did she get it? No, but it didn't matter because she was well backed up there by Thomas Edmonds.
Yeah, good a bit of team offense there. Wedge just slightly overthrowing Kurahashi, but Edmonds just recognises it and goes and gets it. Kurahashi with that fantastic toe-in. You could just see how hard she was having to work. Really, really nice to see. And Wedge, of course, as we mentioned earlier, living in the UK, but playing for the Canada World Games side, and actually the captain. So a testament to kind of how much trust and faith they put in her as a player.
Nice finny there, Tim Sang. Good to see that that's clearly in World Games form. Excellent stuff. I'm so impressed with Kurahashi because I think fundamentally and technically she's just impeccable. But again, the big play, never a problem for her. You see here with the toe in on the sideline, just about I think gets that down before the tape. And you know, no mess, no fuss. Get back in play. Although this is Woofter, you don't need that ground tap.
I think you're going to see a lot of ground tapping this weekend.
Hey, and I'm going to call them out on it.
Ground tap bingo.
They're making their own lives 1 second harder.
See Atkins on the camera there, not playing with us unfortunately due to a bit of a twisted knee. Did just recently play at EBUCC, the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships over in Poland. Had a fantastic tournament there with the deep dish discs out of the UK.
I must admit, I had a great time in Gdansk. It was the least beach-feeling beach tournament I've ever been to.
It was crazy.
But the big industrial container ship in the background was some spectacular setting. Lister's taken off deep. Doesn't want it, so motors underneath Brittany Dos Santos. Now Dos Santos' Sixers teammate Aurora Leshnik. Breaking to McHale. A couple of cuts come to the same place. They've got to redirect. Oh, the scuba leading Whitlock to the break side, right on the end zone line. Easiest of flops to Collarts to the goal. Whitlock's getting very involved early. He is clearly relishing the occasion.
I mean, if you've come all the way from New Zealand, what's that, a 24-hour flight? You better make your impression.
Yeah, fair enough. I respect that.
Here for a good time, not a long time, as they say.
Yeah, and Collarts has been a finisher for so long that, again, just that sense in the end zone that when the time comes, I'm going to be the one who's first on the spot there.
Canada then back out with their O-line, or a line that is playing offense. We're not really sure what the lines are yet, but it's all going to be revealed as the weekend goes on, I'm sure.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of chopping and changing, you expect. Not even necessarily from game to game, but sometimes, you know, half to half, point to point, because this is all about finding those right combinations, getting in exactly the right shape, the right system, the right frame of mind, so you can, yeah, go into the World Games at 100%.
Well, I know that Canada have got a fairly short training schedule for their tournament. Selection was pretty much online. They had one final training weekend a couple of weeks ago, and after that they chose their final 14 and obviously their alternates. They've got this tournament. I believe they're playing another warm-up tournament and then one final training camp, and that's them done. So just 3 things for them to come back. China later in the year.
One of the things about Canada being such a big country where your 2 ultimate hubs are so separate that often it's difficult to get everyone together to have that, you know, the intense training that you want. Odnar being marked by Tam, looking central, sits down as he releases. Sang looking for an option down the far line. Still count rising, chooses to release it. There is nobody deep on either side.
Yeah, I think Canada will be disappointed with that. Just clearly a massive misconnection between the handlers and the cutters. When that disconnect happens, it's really, really hard to hit anyone. As far as bailout options go, sending it deep and playing a little bit of huck and D, probably the best place to have field position.
I mean, it's not your default plan, of course, but there are times when I think you have to appreciate that, hey, let's play the field position game. That one squeaks through the hands of Bouja. Quick pick by Sang. McLeod's going with the offhand. A little float into that jump, get into the end zone, not quite. Oh, it just about sits back in Sang's hands. McLeod now, again trying to get a little bit creative potentially with the next option. Slashing sideways are the Canadians. And again, not quite in the end zone. A lot of noise on the sidelines, but it doesn't matter. Canada stays calm, holds firm, and punches in.
It's good defense there from the super team, really able to kind of push them to take small options. But speaking of small options, I think Bouja had the drop there because had to do a massive deep strike followed by an under, and it just popped out the hands. Disc came really hot. You see Canada on the screen having a few times, nearly jumping in. Robert right on the front, fakes the lefty and then just dishes off. And that's the goal as we hear another timeout being called. Second of 4.
Yeah. Canada calling this timeout, 3 minutes to half. So I think that means we'll have a timed half, so likely to end up being halves at 7. Here, Free Friday then on London Invite weekend. Action kicks off in earnest tomorrow, but yeah, we've got a few little warm-up showcases as teams really look to hit the weekend in full peak form. And if you want to watch it all, remember, join at the channel. You want more London Invite access, and you can watch every single game, well, is being streamed this week, which is 3 out of the 4 pitches every round. And that's over 45 games over the weekend in total. So much of the best in the world. Canada with a 6-4 lead here, Friday, London Invite.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice. Lightspeed, a global venture capital firm, is proud to sponsor Team Bling, where excellence and cohesion take center stage.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Thanks to all our sponsors for helping to support coverage of the London Invite here this weekend. Free Friday for you. We've got a couple of free games smattered throughout tomorrow as well, but if you want access to 45 games live streamed here at the London Invite this weekend, then become a YouTube channel member, more London Invite access, and you can watch all our live streams, not just live, but back on demand as well. Benji Reese alongside Amelia Durban with Ali Thomas on the stat sheet as well. Here in this Friday friendly at the London Invite. Canada up a couple of breaks with a 6-4 advantage at the moment. Going to be pulling to SuperTeam. Wind beginning to pick up a little bit. Feels like it's going from right to left as we're looking at it from the main camera, Amelia.
Yeah, you see a lot of the jerseys starting to kind of blow and pick up in the wind. I said at the start of the game it wasn't too bad, probably a thrower's wind, but I would say that this wind is going to start causing problems now. I think hucking down wind is going to be too hard, and hucking up wind is going to put a lot of discs in the air. So let's see these expert players show their expert throwing skills out on the field now. Miscommunication.
No, visionary. Was originally Dameron, but Johnson Go with the heads-up play recognised it. Tognetti, there's a pick downfield. I loved the space throw from Tognetti to Zhu to open the point, by the way. Perfect touch on it. Pingu into the backfield for Dameron. And again. Now Zhu. Collart slashing. Oh, it was a little bit behind. And that was enough pressure from Anushka Beaudry, who, of course, was on the Tokay SuperTeam last year. Lovely layout. Keeps that one alive. Canada looking to break into half. Odnar slips, loses his footing. Good to see he's okay. Beaudry reaches out there with the right hand. The long, lean Podnar comes underneath. Now Mackenzie, being marked by McHale. Utilising the rip well, Cook. Still rising. Again, trying to find an option to get that release valve, sending it out into space. Not a problem. The Cuckoo lays out just to be sure. Got a nice little carpet burn for that one.
Canada looking a little bit stunned for options. SuperTeam doing a really good job of pushing them backwards.
And then an elevator gets it over the mark of Tognetti. Beaudry on Killarts in a matchup of SuperTeam past and present. Now Mackenzie again, opening it up. Talista has speed, but up against the bigger wedge. Talista does enough.
Yeah, SluTzi just reaching through there and swatting it away. Kind of recognising that wedge had the advantage, but SluTzi just needed to put the body in the way, and that is what happened, and that is a turnover for Canada on a relatively free option.
First cut is Dameron underneath. And then the reigning mixed player of the year out in the States, Tanner Johnson Go. And Tanner Johnson goes deep. Up against Podnar. There's a lot of meat in that matchup. Podnar gets the better of it. The little wave of the arms, not in his house.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Podnar show kind of come to light. Kind of broke out onto the scene last year, and great to see him on this roster.
Yeah, there's no doubt he has got so many tools. Beaudry. Now Mackenzie. Wedge trying to opening it up deep again this time. Maybe because of the D last time. Looked off, sat out into space. Who's it going to be? It's Podnars, and now he can toss this up a tiny bit of float. Not a problem for Thomas Edmonds. 7-4, Canada lead now.
7-4, that's quite a damaging scoreline. SuperTeam going to be feeling disappointed. Canada, when they get the disc, they do look good, but the SuperTeam defense is also incredibly pressured. I I think Super Team obviously just finding their footing, figuring each other out. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think Canada have just got a couple more reps under their belt so far.
Yep. It's half time here, so we're taking half at 7 in this slightly truncated game, which will mimic the World Games. So at the World Games, the time cap is 70 minutes, although time stops during a full half time there, so kind of feels more like a slightly longer length game. But they are games to 13, half at 7, and we will take a little half here. Not a huge break necessarily, but there will be the mirrored half. I mean, Canada received to begin the second half, and going up 8-4 in a short game, they would really like their chances. While the two sides get ready for the second half to get underway, I'll leave you with a couple of brief messages. 7-4, Canada leading Tokay SuperTeam. Halftime, free Friday, London invite.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Lightspeed, a global venture capital firm, is proud to sponsor Team Bling, where excellence and cohesion take center stage.
I'm Stef Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe.
Oh, wow.
Guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Go find Stef Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Free Friday at the London invite here on ULTI.TV. We had a little bit of questions in the chat about the status of Alex Atkins. Well, what better person to ask than the man himself? How you doing, Kins?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good.
So the questions were, why aren't you playing today? I don't know how much information you're necessarily willing to divulge, but if you just a little bit of a filler, what happened to you in the week?
Yeah, no, really the Canadians, they just don't really excite me that much as a team, so I just thought maybe I'd sit this one out, wait till Saturday, Sunday, then I'll probably start playing.
That is valid as well. You've had a little bit of an extended European sojourn. You were at Beaches last weekend. You've been you were in Kent as well, playing with Gentle at Elite Invite and some of their youth stuff as well. How have you found your your European excursion?
It was amazing. That scene in Ghent was actually incredible. Reminded me of home where I grew up in Philadelphia. All the kids playing, eating food after the games. That was kind of the moments you look for when you're like playing Ultimate and you know find some of that exciting happiness that the sport provides to so many of us.
How can Super Team come back in the second half here?
I mean, I think, you know, the goal is to just keep getting better as a team. Like, what's super interesting is you take all these players that don't know each other, and it's just about seeing how quickly they are going to be able to mesh. So probably just continuing to figure each other out and mold as a team.
Lovely. Thanks, Kins. We'll let you get back to your sidelining duties. Pleasure to hear from you.
Thanks, Benji. You keep it up. You're doing a great job.
You see, the man knows how to flatter me. He's he's buttering his bread the right way. I did notice the Super Team have got the very annoying megaphone, which I'm sure will come in handy this week in those sidelining duties. Canada are receiving to begin the second half. Amelia Durbin slots the headset back on. What are you looking to see from the second half, Durbs?
I think I'd just like to see a little bit more joy from everyone. I'm a big smiley player. So I think teams warming up, figuring each other out. I want to see the Super Team find their drive now, because it's their first streamed game, it's their first game together, and they want to show a good effort. And right now, I think they can do much better.
Maliko Jesima shooting it deep, looking for Kurahashi, but it's too far. And Sarah Yekland, who's on the field for the first time for the Tokay Super Team. First time this year, I should say, of course, because they were part of the roster last year.
Again, I can hear the comeback train start now, and it's because Sarah Yekland has taken the field.
Not a bad addition to add to any roster. Here's Mikhail. Matched up against one-time machine teammate in Maliko Jesima. Slovenian Leshnik to Mikhail, who rises. Buja to Dam. Makes the toss and then goes to her teammate Leshnik. Mikhail really uncorking that one, and it's too far. I think maybe expecting the wind to just bite at that one a little bit more, but too far for even the speedy Jorge Buja.
Yeah, Mikhail knows that's his bad. You see him raise a hand and apologise to Buja there. Two players were free. Could have been quite a nice goal for Super Team, but just an overthrow. Going to be frustrated with that one, I reckon.
First game of the weekend, I think that's the time when you maybe expect to see those sorts of errors, where you're still finding the range of, you know, those players on the roster that you've not played with before. Jacobson shakes and bakes to get free of Leshnik. Now breaking around to Lloyd. Again looking break side again for Dos Santos. Pops up a little bit too much.
Yeah, Malik Oshamar super poached then. Whitlock kind of roving in the lane, and they weren't able to capitalise on that free player and a turnover.
Lloyd bids, doesn't get, quickly picks himself up. Whitlock, the big Kiwi. Oh, that's slashing inside. Dodges the first two players, and Mikhail finds it. Damn. Zhu. Super Team captain again, Zhu. Now Mikhail doesn't want the first option, puts a bit of air underneath it, plenty of time for Whitlock, into the end zone for Aurora Leshnik. That's the Super Team break. They've begun to arrive in this game, 7-5 they trail.
Yeah, a much needed break there for the Super Team. They had a bit of a longer half time than was originally planned, and Benji and I are unsure if the clock was stopped. There's about 8 minutes left if it wasn't, and if there was a stoppage, then there's probably around 13 minutes left.
Yeah, there's certainly a more casual nature about the play today, not in proper tournament play, so teams just kind of working out some kinks again. I think just trying to make sure that everyone's fit and healthy, not just for the weekend, but for the World Games teams, of course, for the big event itself in Chengdu in China.
Lots to play for, teams just taking their time. It's obviously quite warm today. It's 3:30. No, it's not, it's 3:50. Don't know what time zone I'm in here in the UK. So kind of all the heat that's come from the day is now just sitting on this turf, and you can see players take their time. Another timeout, not surprised.
Yeah, we mentioned that as opposed to the one timeout per team per game, sides will get at the World Games. For this game, at least anyway, 2 timeouts per team per half. And for Canada, if anything's not right, we'll take the time out. We'll make sure that we can get it fixed. And if you want to get your ultimate fix this weekend, of course, every game here on the Friday is free, and lots of free games dotted throughout the weekend as well. But to make sure you can watch all of our live stream coverage, make sure you join, become a YouTube channel member, click the option for more London invite access, and then you can watch all 45 stream games over the course of the tournament. And it would be a pleasure to have you along with us. And we see many of you have already chosen to do so. And it means a lot because we literally cannot do it without your support. And we feel a